Guys, there are so many ways to make easy money with your tractor that it's almost a crime not to. I'm going to tell you all about it, exactly what I do in today's video. So hit that subscribe button below and stay tuned. So there's a lot of reasons or a lot of motivations driving that desire to want to make some extra money. Perhaps you're looking for a way to justify the purchase of that tractor or an attachment. Maybe you just want some extra seat time. I know that's one of the big reasons for me. Maybe you're looking for a part-time opportunity here that could potentially transition into a full-time career. This could be the one for you. Maybe you got a big vacation, a big expense, a big repair bill coming up, a home renovation, whatever it might be, and you want to get some extra scratch. So regardless of the reason, you're in a very good spot. Let me tell you why. So you have a huge advantage if you own a tractor or if you're going to be owning a tractor soon. So if you're familiar with the term barrier of entry, it is going to be something that prevents most people or a lot of people from entering into a market to do business. So if we're talking about property maintenance services with tractors, or for the farm or for the field or whatever it might be, something where you're tilling, brush hogging, using the loader, using a snow blower or a plow, that kind of thing, that's a high barrier of entry. In most locations, not everybody's going to be able to afford or justify owning a tractor. So you need to use that to your advantage. And once you have the tractor, getting an additional attachment for it is going to open up a whole new service for you at a very reasonable cost. So again, that barrier of entry is something that prevents most folks from entering into a market. So common barriers of entry. A very common one is cost, which is associated with a tractor, for instance. Not everybody can afford to have a tractor. So again, that's why you can use that to your advantage. To give you a couple other examples, not for the tractor world, but just in general, regulations. You need to be able to comply with a lot of regulations, perhaps in the aerospace industry, for instance. Or if you need a law degree or a doctorate to become a doctor or a lawyer, those are high barriers of entry, meaning you need to spend a lot of time, potentially a lot of money, acquiring those skills to be able to enter into that market. But once you're there, you can charge a premium for your service. The same can be said for a tractor, although not on as grand of a scale. As we go through this video, keep in mind that I sell tractors and attachments. So if you are in the market, I can help you with either one or put a package together for you. I'd be happy to help with financing delivery too. So if you want to support Good Works Tractors and you don't see anything right now on the website that you're interested in, I also put a lot of links in the description below, plus my Amazon store. I put a lot of good products on there that I believe in, that I use myself, and only things that I recommend. So if you see something useful there and you buy it, just know that I'll get a little bit of a kickback, and I really appreciate it. Here we go. So I don't want you to just take my word for it, but I do have a lot of trial and error under my belt. So I'm somebody who's always just been coming up with ideas, and most of them are terrible. However, I think that same kind of creativity there with all the bad ideas that I'm writing down and thinking out and trying to figure out a game plan of how to make it all work has kind of led me to where I am today. So right now I do work for myself in a currently successful venture. I'd like to keep it that way. My wife and I also own a daycare center, which we purchased a little over 5 years ago. And my wife has done a great job. When we purchased that daycare, it had 28, 29 kids, and right now she's got that at triple the size and a waiting list. She's done an amazing job. And so I say all of this because this is something that's always on my mind. It's something I've always done, always wanted to do, just come up with ideas and new business ventures. I really enjoy it. I enjoy coming up with the idea. I enjoy figuring out the process of developing it and then implementing it and seeing if it works. Even way back in college, I started my very first business that I bought my first house with and a new truck with, selling cell phones on eBay. Just used cell phones right on eBay. That was a long time ago though. I've had lawn service businesses and irrigation businesses and website design, just all sorts of stuff, and most of them don't pan out the long term. The point is that I've figured out some things that work. The most important things to focus on to make your business successful, whether it's just a little bit of a side hobby to get some extra money, or if you want to turn that from a part-time business into a full-time business. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is efficiency. And that's a very loaded term because efficiency is pervasive throughout your entire business operation, every aspect of it. From an advertising perspective, from a getting work done perspective, from a what you do on the backside perspective. The business that I run right now, Good Works Tractors, is all about efficiency. So trucking is a big example of that. I use freight haulers to deliver and to pick up for the most part. So my father-in-law Bill and my close friend Paul do a lot of help around the shop for me, cleaning up tractors, detailing, that kind of thing as well. All my accounting practices are outsourced just to an accountant that we have here in town as well. The point being is that you need to pick and choose the things that you're most effective at. And when you're small, just starting out in something, you got to wear every hat you can, and to some degree, I still do. But the more you value your time, the more efficient you're going to be. Because time is the one thing you are not going to get more of. And so accomplishing whatever the work, whatever the task is at hand in the most efficient, the most effective manner is going to make you more productive, more profitable, and you're going to have more fun doing it that way. A good example of efficiency for a small business, somebody who's doing this part-time just on the side, wants to earn a few extra bucks. Let's say you put an ad line for garden tilling. You get 10 or 15 customers lined up for the spring and they're all over town. So you need to manage that, schedule it in a way, be assertive and proactive with your customers, and just let them know, I can get to you on this day, I can get to you on this day, whatever it is, but match up those different areas, those different sections of town so that you can go from one to the other very quickly and avoid bouncing around back and forth. That's a really bad use of time. Not to mention the extra expense of fuel, maintenance, wear and tear, that kind of thing on your trailer, on your truck. So when I say it's so easy to make money with a tractor, I really mean it. There's so many ways to get it done. And so most attachments that you're going to get for your tractor are going to be $2,000 or less for the most part. And that means you're going to get a very quick return on investing in those attachments. And that is really, really cheap, guys. The expensive part is the tractor. Let's say you get a snow pusher for snow removal. Most of those are going to be under $2,000. Let's say you get a box blade or a land plane to level out areas, grade driveways, that kind of thing. Again, we're under $2,000. Let's say you get a grapple to help clear lots, move trees, cut logs, that kind of thing. Again, we're under $2,000. What about a brush hog or a tiller? Again, under $2,000. So for me, I won't even take on a job unless it's $100 minimum. And in that case, it's typically going to be tilling jobs. You know, spring garden tilling, fall garden tilling, that kind of thing. When I can stack up 6, 8, 10 jobs in a row, just knock them all out in a day and get it all done. For most other kinds of work, the minimum price is going to be even higher than that. And my typical jobs are going to be $400 to $1,000. So of course, there's a lot of reasons that are going to influence pricing. However, the point is, you can see how quickly you can recover the cost of the implement that you buy. And that's an implement that's typically going to last for years and years and years. And so you have that paid off within the first year maybe. Maybe it takes you 2 years if you're really just not using it very often. However, it could last 10, 15, 20 years. And most of these attachments are going to have relatively cheap replaceable parts as well. Things like tines on a tiller or blades on a brush hog, wear bars on a blade, whether it's a snow blade or a box blade or a land leveler, that kind of thing. So you have very little investment over time in these to keep them up and keep them in good operating condition. So you're able to justify the purchase of that and seeing how quickly you can recover the initial investment. After that is straight profit, baby. One of the other critical keys that I found to running a successful business or part-time business or venture or whatever it is being professional and being prompt. We all see it every day. We interact with service folks, with the service industry, regardless of if it's going to a restaurant or the cashier at a gas station. Maybe it's a repair technician that comes to your house. But it's amazing how many folks are simply, I don't know, let's say, not well suited to the industry. If you're interacting with folks, you should probably have a pretty positive and friendly demeanor. I've found for me that it's made a pretty significant difference just how you interact with your customers on the phone when you're trying to go over a quote or review what they need. You can also convey that friendliness, that promptness, that professionalism through your written communication, whether it's a text message or an email. Say the simple things like please and thank you and have a great day and it was great talking to you and I hope to hear from you soon. You know, give a little smiley face emoji if the situation arises or a thumbs up, you know. But if you look around and you just pay attention day to day, you can see not everybody is doing these things. And so if you implement them, if you make a conscious effort to do so in your interaction, even in your advertisements, the way that I post my advertisements, I'm going to make sure that they convey a professional, prompt, and courteous message. Imagine yourself as the customer. What kind of message do you want to be reading from the potential business that you're going to hire? This is simple stuff, guys, but you see it butchered all the time. And so keep that at the forefront. And I'm dead serious when I say this is one of the keys to being successful in your venture. Okay, so you guys need to pay attention to this one here because it is important. And we're talking about hidden costs. Those things that are not directly tied to the job. You know, where you're out there tilling a garden. So you're sitting on your tractor, tiller's in the ground, you're working it. That's direct cost right there. You can see that coming from a mile away. But what about everything else? There's a whole lot else to consider. You've got things like unexpected expenses that come up. Let's say you blow a tire on a trailer going down the road. Well, there goes 130 bucks. Or even a strap or a chain goes flying off. That's 15, 20, 25 bucks right there. Say you bust a light. You got to maintain that professional look, right? There's 90 bucks to replace that. What about other kinds of costs that you consider? These are real costs here because your time is valuable. Time to hook up your truck to your trailer. Time to hook up your attachment to your tractor. Time to load everything and strap it down onto your trailer. And guess what? Not only do you get to do that once, you get to do it twice, at the beginning of the job and the end. So that travel time, the loading and unloading, the strapping things down, the hooking up and unhooking, That's all valuable time right there for your most important resource. You can't do anything else while you're doing that. So that is all time that's associated. Those are all functions associated with the job at hand. When you go out there to till that garden, all those other factors right there go into that job. That is part of the cost to you. And in my opinion, that should be part of the cost to the customer as well. That's only fair. You know, there's a lot of other costs to consider as well. Obviously insurance for your truck, your trailer, your tractor, maybe your business if you get to that point. Your maintenance items, okay? So for the tractor, for the implement, for the truck, for the trailer. Your regular wear and tear plus your unexpected. Your fuel cost, again, for the truck and for the tractor. Those replaceable parts that are going to get used up over time, you know, your tires on your tractor, your wear parts on your implements, your truck and your trailer again. These are all going to experience failures at some point and need maintenance, need upkeep. So I would stress and encourage you not to get into the habit of simply quoting a job based on the actual time it's going to take you out there at the customer's house to get it done. There are so many other factors in play, and you're doing yourself a disservice and you're setting yourself up for failure down the road if you don't account for that and don't figure out a way to get off the ground the right way to begin with. You know, so you're not going to have much of a business if you don't figure out how to get people to contact you. That is critical. That phone's got to be blowing up, right? You got to get the phone calls, the emails, the text messages, Facebook messages, whatever it might be. You need to find a way to attract those customers. That means you got to get your name out there where they are, where they want to be. So of the few things that I'm good at in life, this might be where I'm most effective. Because when I think about efficiency, I think this is where I excel. So I hate spending money on advertising. I consider it a necessary evil. It's something I want to avoid and minimize as much as possible. You know, and you've always heard something like if you spend $1 in advertising, it's $10 in sales down the road. Okay. That's easy to say for somebody trying to sell you their advertising product. You know, so the concept is simple, right? Get your name out, your number out, your business out in front of as many eyeballs as possible for as little dollars as possible. And there's a lot of good ways to do that, and some of it does take time to build up, and some of it can be done right away. And so clearly, Craigslist is a very effective way to do so. It used to be free for me, but now I do have to pay per every listing that I put in there. There's some sort of an algorithm, and it kind of flags you. If you do it so much at a certain point, then you just simply have to pay, which is okay, because still so many people are looking at Craigslist that it's a very, very effective way to go about advertising. I mean, these are people that are looking in your home area here, right in your local community, that are looking for the service that you can provide. So that's money well spent at a very cheap cost. Another very effective way to do it is through Facebook Marketplace. It took me a long time to get on the Facebook train, and I wouldn't actually say I'm on the Facebook train. You know, I do have a Facebook page for my business, but I don't even keep my own personal account. And I know a lot of you out there are totally against Facebook, and I get it. However, it is a very, very effective form of advertising. And so if you just simply even have your significant other, your wife or your husband on their account, place something onto Facebook Marketplace, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the results. And you can do paid ads on there as well, or you can just let it run for free. You can refresh it on a regular basis so you keep it towards the top of the list. But again, you need to get in front of eyeballs. And so regardless of if you like Facebook or not, that's a place where a lot of eyeballs are looking. Some other creative ways that are going to cost you next to nothing. If you live in a big neighborhood or near a big neighborhood, see if you can get on an HOA list, you know, a list of vendors that the neighborhood can use that are perhaps recommended even. Somebody that's nearby and local that can help out, whether it's plowing driveways or sucking up leaves in the fall or doing landscaping projects or just moving heavy things around with your tractor. It can be a very easy and local, efficient way to get some extra business. And look at your local church as well. Most are going to have a location there too where you can put your business card somewhere or a big, you know, full sheet of paper there with what you can do. Maybe even just word of mouth at the church as well. So years ago, I had a great idea. I was going to start up a hunting property leasing company. And there's companies like that around. However, I don't know if I was going about it the right way or not. But the point is that this is another method to get customers in your core area, especially ones if you're looking specifically for a certain target size of property or demographic or very small location. And so our county, as most do, are going to have some sort of a GIS system, an overhead map with tax parcels and owner IDs and addresses. And so for this hunting property lease company that I wanted, I was targeting big companies that had 50 acres or more here in Michigan because 50 acres is a pretty good chunk. And so I made an Excel sheet. I went through the whole surrounding area, township by township, selecting all those properties, writing down the name and address of the landowner there. I had a whole letter written up to introduce myself, introduce the company and my services as well, and then I mailed it out to all of those folks. I think it was 300 or 400 letters that I sent out at the time. So let's just say that company is now defunct. However, the point is, it didn't really cost me a whole lot. Yeah, some stamps and envelopes and paper and ink, but the main cost was my time. It probably took me, 3 or 4 hours maybe to go through that whole list, write all the information down, put it onto some envelopes and mail everything out. I did get some responses, but it just didn't really take off the way that I wanted it to. A couple other ways to get some advertising out there, you could put a sign in your front yard, you could put a sign on your truck. You could have some of those little signs made up that you see on the street corners, for leaf cleanup or mowing or whatever it might be. So actually YouTube is a very effective approach as well. I got into doing YouTube videos because it was free. It didn't cost me anything. At that point, I just had my phone kind of pointed at my face or pointed at a piece of equipment, shot some video and put it online. Of course, it's developed since that point, and I actually do spend a decent amount of money right now on making those videos, but it's still a very effective solution. You're gonna have to tailor it to what your business is, right? So if it's your local destination, I'm here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, so if I really hit the keywords with Kalamazoo garden tilling or Kalamazoo leaf cleanup, that kind of thing. So let's do a quick example here to see just how effective YouTube can actually be. So as you might know, YouTube is actually tied in with Google. And I do a lot of John Deere videos, okay? But if you Google a certain model out there, there are gonna be millions of results, millions of search results. But take just a couple examples, for instance. If you Google John Deere 2032R, John Deere 2032R, click enter. One of the first results that's gonna pop up are gonna be videos from me, right from YouTube, but they're gonna be near the top of the search results. That's a very important criteria. You don't have to scroll through pages of results to find me. I'm right there in the top. Again, if you do it again with the John Deere 3046R, go ahead and Google that, see what pops up. More than likely, right near the top, you're gonna see videos of mine. One last example, John Deere 4066R. Again, there's millions of results once you click enter. However, right near the top, you're gonna see my video of a John Deere 4066R. So look into YouTube. It's not for everybody, and you know what? It can be a pain to make videos sometimes. But the point is, it can be pretty cheap and it can be pretty effective. Okay, so I know you wanna know, how do I determine the price you're gonna charge a customer for a job? There's quite a bit that goes into that. So the first thing you wanna do is look at your competition. You're gonna see a lot of advertised prices online. Lots of times, as with anything, these are gonna be starter prices. They're not gonna include the extras that are gonna go on top of that price. So kind of use that as a baseline, but not as a be-all, end-all. You can also call your competition, seriously, or have your wife or your husband or whoever it is do it. See how much it's gonna be to plow a driveway. See how much it's gonna be to till a garden or to mow a field or to grade a driveway or to clear these trees out, whatever it might be. Have them call, get a list, get your numbers there. I'll tell you straight up, that's what we did with our daycare center, to figure out what we should charge, where we should be at in the market for charging for kids of different ages to go to our daycare center. We called probably 15 or 20 different daycares and got as much information for the different classrooms, the different ages, and then we priced it accordingly. We didn't price it at the bottom. We didn't price it at the top. We priced it in the middle, somewhere in a sweet spot that we found over time. It's okay to tweak your pricing. Plan on doing that. I do that all the time. There's a lot of reasons why your price is going to adjust, and it's okay if it fluctuates from day to day or job to job. If you have a big backlog, if you have 20 jobs lined up, you don't really need more, so you're only going to take the ones that are charging a premium for. If you have nothing going on and you're starving for work, your price is probably going to come down a little bit. Even depending on the time of year, if it's a busy or a slow season. Even if you know that there's not many other people in your area that do this certain task that you do, you can charge a premium for it. No matter how you slice it, the market is going to tell you if your price is okay. If you're not getting the calls, not getting the feedback that you need, typically that means one of two things. Either there's no market for that service in your area, so you need to figure out something different, or your price is too high. And at some point, the same can be said if you're getting too much traffic. If you have too many phone calls, too many jobs lined up, perhaps it's time to consider raising your prices because you're not charging enough. And I'm not saying that to be greedy. I'm just saying you should charge what the market will bear, and the market will tell you when that breaking point comes. Another quick example here with Good Works tractors on my tractor prices. I know this market quite well throughout the country. I know what tractors sell for. And I also know that I hate staring at tractors, inventory that's not moving. If it's sitting here, I'm not making any money. I'm not paying the bills. So for me, I need to make sure that invested cost, what I'm buying it for and advertising it for, is at a low enough price point so that I can still sell it, make some profit, pay those bills, and keep them moving. So in that regard, it's the same concept. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment, hit that subscribe button below. I really appreciate it. Head on over to goodworkstractors.com. I'd love to help you with a tractor or an attachment. Again, I can help with financing and delivery too. And make sure you check out the description below. I have links to my Amazon store and some other useful products as well. If you choose to make a purchase, I'll probably get a kickback, and just know I appreciate that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.